Alright, so this is my new Mutants review. Long overdue, long put off. Also, but before I do get into it, to any Christian, religious, or spiritual person that might be sensitive to certain language or words, like demon, you will hear that in this movie, but I'm gonna ease your mind. The It's not the type of demon. It's not a demon like you uh, talk about or think about in like the sense of Satan or an evil spirit. Really, it's more like it's more the demons that you have internally. Okay, so when somebody says you have um, fighting your demons or whatever, trying to drag you down or whatever, so um, just to put your mind at ease, when they say demon, that's what they mean. So this whole movie, and spoiler warning, this is going to be a spoiler review. The whole movie, so what I just said about the demon, you find out in the first opening of the movie. So you might not know what's going on or might be leery of spiritism or things like that, but that's what this movie is about, inner demons. And you find that out as soon as the movie starts. And it starts with the um, fairly popular Native American proverb of uh, each person having an evil bear and good bear. Sometimes, the way I heard it, I always heard everybody has a good wolf and a bad wolf. And the moral of the story being that whichever one you feed is the one that's going to grow stronger, or whichever one's going to win, whatever. Anyway, so the movie talks about that. That's how it opens up. And um, that sets up the, I guess, overarching theme of the movie. So I don't know if I'm gonna tell you what happens in the movie or just tell you what's good or bad. I know a lot of people. Well, okay. So this is obviously about young mutants, and takes place in the Fox X-Men universe. And basically, this group of young mutants get sent to this facility that supposedly presented as like a hospital to help them uh, explore their powers, master their powers, and ultimately, uh, control their powers. That's how it's presented to them. But it's almost like juvenile prison or like some kind of camp for at-risk teens or whatever. So the main protagonist of this movie is uh, this young indigenous female who survives an attack on her um, neighborhood, village, trailer park, whatever you want to call it, and wakes up in this building, this hospital with a handful of other teens, and they all got there because of some kind of tragic or accident or whatever, harming others or whatever. Um, and we come to find out that things might not be as they seem, including the main antagonist of this movie, which is like this looming boogeyman type monster that's, again, called a demon. But to all you Christians or religious people, I just want to remind you at the beginning of the movie, it tells you what it is. Each person has a good and a bad uh, spirit animal, or good or a bad uh, aspect to their being. So that's kind of a major spoiler, but I'm trying to put you at ease in case you're, you know, trying to protect yourself from spiritual attacks. Anyway, so this movie is not the typical um, comic movie or superhero movie. It's a lot more. It takes its cues from horror movies and drama, and I'd say it actually. So it's not a traditional beat 'em up, but there definitely is action, and um, there's not like a traditional good versus. There's not a traditional bad guy where there's like a costumed villain. It's a lot more organic or naturalistic where you're if you looked at it like you look at every other movie instead of a comic book movie, um, you I guess would understand how it is structured or set up. It takes its time to linger with each character or linger with the people where you get to know the teens, and it's very self-contained. It all happens in this building more or less, or this facility. And like I said, it's very so people that might love the Marvel Cinematic Universe or love a more generic or traditional superhero movie might complain about this because it's not that. This is, like I said, um, more like, and I hate like separating or categorizing superhero movies as something separate than other movies because there really is no specific way to do a superhero movie, and in fact, it's just a movie. And that's what I like or prefer. My favorite superhero movies or comic movies or whatever movies are movies first and genre, we'll say, second. So, um, there's not costumes, there's not some. Alright, so you're exploring these people that are basically in like a psychiatric mental hospital that's meant to fix them. And they're. So the acting, I'd say, is good. The VFX are good. And overall, it's a good movie. Now, it's very popular to bash it online. People are saying it's bad. And again, that's because it does not do the predictable or typical thing. That's basically the review. So, but I don't want to really spoil things for you. But there are a lot of interesting things I want to talk about. Like people were mad that there's one of the characters is like racist or use racial slurs, and she's antagonistic toward the protagonist or the main character. But in reality, people are like that all the time. There's bigotry in real life, there's racism in real life, and in actuality, it adds a depth of realism to this world. And you also, people have to be more mature and critical in their thinking, not being so quick to take offense and get offended, but to actually use their brain. This person that actually bullies the other person using racial slurs is using racial slurs to hurt them. Now, is she really racist? Maybe, maybe not, but it's just like in real life, high school or real life events where a person will try to key in on things that they think will get a reaction. And that's all it really is. And if you can't handle that as a viewer, then what are you doing watching movies or reading stories or listening to anything? It's like this is a fake thing, but it is a reflection or taking cues from things that we recognize and that are real. Also, so the main character's power is kind of like bringing. And I don't want to like ruin it for you, but we find out that she can. We get to get insight in everybody's fears and their thoughts. Okay, I'm about to run out of time, so I'll make another video.